making sure that we have a jump start to economic development activities in Ward 7 and 8. And for those who may not know, and I'm not trying to be flippant, but Anacostia and Ward 8 are not synonymous, all right? Anacostia is part of Ward 8. There's Congress Heights, there's Bellevue, there's lots of other areas, and of course, some people think, I've been in situations where people thought Anacostia included everything east of the river, including Ward 7. When I was on the council, I was representing Ward 7, and there was a gentleman who came because he had a new residential development that he was pushing, and he handed out the brochure. He wanted some action on an alley closing. And he handed out this brochure, and on it said, in the heart of Anacostia. Well, the development was at the corner of 28th and Pennsylvania Avenue, southeast. Everybody know where 28th and Pennsylvania Avenue is? That's not even Anacostia. It's not Ward 8, it's Ward 7. So let's be clear that we have more than one community east of the river. And I'm pleased to be able to live east of the river. We are spending a lot of energy and a lot of attention and a lot of effort to try to bring economic development to east of the river communities. When I got elected, we set out on 4 priorities. One is, of course, bringing strong public education to this city. We continue to be committed to that. Earlier today, I was a part of the Road Foundation Awards. I don't know if you're familiar with the Road Foundation, but Eli and Edith Road established a foundation that is now endowed this awards program. They just put $40 million into it to ensure that each year $1 million would be able to be awarded to an outstanding school public education system in the nation. They've been doing it now. This is the 11th year. And I was there for the finalists and the award. The award went to Charlotte Mecklenburg today. And I'm not going to lie to you. I kept sitting there saying, man, I want to be able to get up here and be known. I'm so competitive, man. You could, if you want to pitch pennies to the line, I'll pitch pennies to the line, and I'm going to stand it and do it until I get my penny closer to the line than yours is. And that's the spirit that we ought to have about education in the city, that we want to be the best, and we can be the best. We're on course to do that, and ultimately it's going to be the answer to a problem that we see right now, and that is not so much joblessness. It's easy to talk about joblessness, that, you know, this person doesn't have a job, but even more difficult is the mismatch between the skill sets needed for emerging jobs at this stage and the skill sets that so many of our people have who are looking for jobs. Our jobless rate has gone up in this nation again, and our jobless rate has gone up in the District of Columbia. I think we're now between 10 and 11%, which is the highest rate that I can remember certainly in the near past. And that's why we've got to be able to focus on it, not so much even across the city, but as we go further east. In Ward 5, the unemployment rate is 15%. In Ward 7, it is 17%. And I think many of you know in Ward 8, the jobless rate is now 25%. And that just includes the people who are still looking for jobs. But again, it's more than just creating jobs. We've spent a lot of time and attention on this effort. We've tried to improve public safety, and we are continuing to do that, because when people feel safe, they are even more enthusiastic and energetic about living in any community across the city as we try to become one city. I don't know if you follow the crime statistics. I read them every day. We have something called the morning report that comes out. And the first report I look at every morning is the crime report. And we actually are on course at this stage to have the lowest level of homicides in the District of Columbia in the past 42 years. And frankly, when you look at where the reductions are, they are in the 6th District and the 7th District. It used to be that those 2 districts, which are east of the river, led the city in crime. They don't anymore. As a matter of fact, last September 2010, we had 15 homicides in the District of Columbia. What is today, 19? 20. I'm a day behind. I'm going to get a day ahead. Today is the 20, which means that we have, what, 2/3 of the month gone? 15 homicides last September 2010. As of today, this September, we have 2 in the And that's the kind of thing that helps people feel safe, that it's a city where people want to live and be a part of it. And we are on the grow. We are on the grow. We had an addition of 30,000 people in our population since the last census. We went from 570,000 to 601,000. And I think on the current trajectory, we probably, by the time we get to the next decennial, which of course will be 2020, I think we could have added another 50 or 60,000 people in population in the District of Columbia. And guess where a lot of those people are probably going to wind up living? That's exactly right, east of the river. The residential development is underway. You can see what's going on with Sheridan Station down at Howard Road. You can see what's going on with the Matthew Moore Memorial Development on Martin Luther King Avenue. And we are really jump-started, for those of you who follow, we've really jump-started the New Communities Program so that anybody who's living in one of our concentrated public housing developments will be able to continue to live east of the river or in Ward 8 if they choose to. But we also will add housing so that we have mixed income housing at the end of the day. And both of those, Sheridan and Matthews, have units that are set aside for people who live in Parkchester and Berry Farm so that people will be able to stay there. But also, there will be additional units for varying levels of income, which is exactly what we want to have if we want to be a diverse city and diverse east of the river. We've done a lot of work. We've got a lot of work yet to be done. President Knapp mentioned a job summit that we held even before I was sworn in. That was in December. And we started to focus then on what the various sectors of the city could do to help us get people back to work. I've talked about my priorities, and in one way or another, each one of them impinges upon getting people employed. In June, I did a jobs and economic development speech, and we did it right on the banks of the Anacostia. Wow, that sounds great. The banks of the Anacostia. I gotta put that in. I gotta put that in some of our brochures. The banks of the Anacostia. The day will come. The day will come when people will be able to swim in the Anacostia. And I don't even think it's that far off. I mean, it's not tomorrow, but I don't think it's that far off. Well, you can swim in there any day you want, you know, at your own peril. But the day will come when it will be a safe body of water in which to swim. We did it right on the Anacostia River, and we talked about some of the things that are coming, especially east of the river. I don't know how many of you have followed the project we have with MVM Strategies. They're going to be locating, they're bringing their national headquarters to the nation's capital. I think the council voted today on their industrial revenue bond. Everybody follow industrial revenue bonds? Who follows industrial revenue bonds in here? You need a life. I knew you raised your hand, George. Industrial revenue bonds, of course, are not paid for by the city. What the city does is basically allow its tax-exempt status to be used by firms so that they can borrow, but the firms are responsible for paying back the industrial revenue bond. Well, MVM Strategies got a bond, I think, a total of $80 million for the city. That's a lot of money. And the purpose of it is for them to be able to locate their business, which is a cartridge, an inkjet cartridge business. They're going to do assembly of cartridges. It's going to be located in east of the river communities. And we think we have a spot for them to be able to do that. And then secondly, they're located in the national headquarters, which will be on the east side of the St. Elizabeth's campus. Again, jump-starting economic development and job opportunities east of the river. And by the way, having met with the person who's the president of the firm, tremendous social conscience. Because the first question I asked him, I said, well, how many people are you going to hire? And they are talking about, over a period of 3 years, they're talking about hundreds of people being hired. So I said, what about people who have been, welfare recipients? What about people who have been incarcerated? What about people who have had substance abuse problems? And he didn't hesitate on any one of those. That every one of those groups that I mentioned, he indicated that they will have entree